Well, hello, friends. Wednesday afternoon, live with Chuck and Bruce. Trying to corral this little guy because we keep talking about him, but evidently we're not cat people, and now we have two of them. They both found us. So hey to everybody. Yeah, that's what I'm going to deal with today. Oh well, see if I can't get him occupied somewhere else. But anyway, all right. So I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday. All right, boss says we look good, sound good. I hope so. We've got an upgrade with our internet, inbound, outbound. So I'm hoping our quality is going to be a little bit better. We can still go a little bit higher, but let's see what happens today. I feel terrible. Oh, good. This is going to he's going to be a big help today, right? My assistant. But we're always working on trying to get the quality a little bit better. It just kills me when somebody says, hey, the quality's bad. I hate that. So, okay, well, I've got a partner in my seat now. All right. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday over hump day. It's let's see, it's 6:59, right on time as usual. Cool. Well, y'all, thank you so much. I was looking over here. Carl Cotton, Carson City. Hope you're doing all right. Jan, you got here. Very cool. James, from Laredo, Texas. I read that. My first thought was beautiful. Boy, I bet it's hot down there. And then I saw a comment, couple down, supposed to be 105 and 106 today, or up to 106. That's hot. Hope you have a pool or something close by. But the heat index, I've always laughed about that because, it's 95, but it feels like 106. Well, what if somebody from Northern Canada comes down? Is it like 138 to them? So I've never really understood that. But anyway, all right, y'all. So it's back. We're back Wednesday. Spend some time with friends. That's exactly right. In our great country and all over our great world. It is a pleasure. Y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. What a blast. So from last week, I got a couple of hellos going out. Charlene, or is it pronounced Charlene? My mom is Charlene. Hi, right back to you. Naranjo 74 from Los Angeles. Bet it's hot out there all the way across the country. Mr. Powell, ID 1990. Hello to you. Let's see. Okay, Flashpoint Bravo. First one I've been able to watch live. This was last week, trying to catch up. Sorry about that. Some of these are going to lag. I can't keep up with all the comments, but I'm certainly going to do my best. Lima Zulu Tango. Got you into leatherworking. I hope you're having a great time with it. That's very cool. Make some beautiful stuff. Let's see. William Bradshaw. Hi from Central Illinois. I bet your weather's nice up there about this time of year. Let's see. All right, Laura Lifts. She said, love the enthusiasm. Then comes back and says, I haven't started working leather yet. Well, I hope you do. I hope you dive in and make some beautiful stuff. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. I'm going to do my best here. Viru Andre Silviu. Hello from Romania. All right, Salut Prietine. And I hope I pronounced that correctly. I'm happy you're here. Everybody, glad you're here. We're going to do our best to have, you know what, we'll laugh a little bit, I hope. Answer some leather questions, talk about some leather. Got a couple of things here to talk about. Got some good questions coming in. Actually, I think I've got a whole page of questions. Page and a half of questions here. Some maybe 2 weeks old, and I apologize for that. But I'm kind of getting a little more organized here. I'm not organized. It's not in my nature. So a lot of these, we're just going to wing it. Luckily, the boss will give me some notes and say, hey, we've got this on sale or whatnot. So that's a big help to me. But I've also got a little bit of homework coming up. So Thunderous Night. Let's see. You wanted to know if we have an address. You said you were going to do some pixel art of Bruce. I will proudly hang that in my shop. It's on our website. But if you have a pin, it's just Weaver Leather. Attention, Leathercraft team, 7540 County Road 201. That's Millersburg 44654. I know I should know our own address, but we have several depending on how you're going to send things in. But that's a general address, and again, that's on the website. If you didn't write that down, let's see. John Natoli from Greensland, Australia. From Greensland, really. I'll slow down. Queensland, Australia. Pleasure to have you here. Thank you very much for commenting. Let's see. Daughter of the Wild. You made it. Yeah, perfect. Very cool. Let's see. Let's work down here some. Now, Leah and Miriam both say, folks kind of expect you not to be able to answer every question. Well, so what I've done is when someone's asked me something several times, I'm sure you're hoping, man, maybe he'll see this, maybe he'll see this. But when I go through the comments from last week, I'll jot those down. So I got a couple of answers there that maybe will be a little bit of a help. It's a week lag, and I'm sorry about that. Do my best to try to get some questions going here. Let's see, Thunderous Night, my state's been in the 90s. We're usually only up into the high 80s and mega hot. Man, it's hot. It is just hot. Even here in Atlanta, it's just, even we're complaining about it. I don't know, it's 90, it's like 90 something, which isn't bad, but the humidity. We've had those afternoon thunderstorms. It's just nuts outside. Feels like a hot house. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Thunderous Night working on Catman. That's right, Bruce Wayne. Catman. I don't care how long it takes. Again, I will proudly hang that in my shop. Let's see. Vera Forma Leatherworks, Vancouver. Is it hot there too? Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I was hoping y'all would have a break through this. Let's see. Jeremy Alexander, we've been in the hundreds for the last few weeks. Super humid. Oh man. Let's see. I live on a golf course. I even help. Rain helps for a minute, but then it goes away, and now the humidity explodes. Yeah, we've got that same problem. Let's see. Gilberto Zebarth. Thank you very much, and many greetings right back to you. Very cool. Very cool. Let's see. Michael Smith. You helped me get into leatherwork, and I've been having so much fun. Hallelujah. I'm so glad to hear that. That's the payoff for me. Let's see. When using a dauber to apply dye, how can I avoid streaks? Well, yes. All right. This is a good question because, okay, I dip dye, but we can only do that because we use the pro dye. The alcohol dye, just your standard dye, is going to go dark. In fact, I changed over to the pro at one time. I asked the gentleman that ran our local leather store, I said, all my dye colors are either have a red or a yellowish tint. What can I do? He said, go to pro dye. And he was exactly right. We've got good earth tones there. But a dauber is tough. All I can say is this, maybe jump up to a sponge, because the point is to try to get, and not soaking wet, but just get as much coverage on your first pass on that panel as you can. Then come back rather quickly, but come back and try to even that out. Maybe 3 coats. And that'll allow that dye to wick in more consistently, more evenly. And I think you'll be surprised. If you try to get that first coat, as much coverage as you can, then come back with a second, maybe a third coat, walk away. Just let it dry. It may take 8 or 10 hours, like on a very humid day. It could take some time to dry. But if you do that, I think you'll be happy with it. Daubers are great for small billets or keychains or small projects, again, where you can get full coverage quickly. But when you get up to a larger project, yeah, you're going to have streaking because it's hard to get all that on. Actually, for me, it's kind of comical when I'm trying to do that with a dauber. But anyway, see if that doesn't help. Let's see, James Lowry. Yeah, it feels like August weather in Georgia right now. No kidding. Man, August is our hot month, and we're already there. But we had a beautiful spring. So, the seasons this year seem to have, they've kind of, had their more, they've been more seasonal. That doesn't make any sense. But we had a pretty spring and a good winter. So, it's summer, man. I complain all winter, and then I complain all summer. It never happened. Well, spring and fall. Come on. They're beautiful, right? Both of them. I think fall has always been my favorite because we got the holidays coming up. The leaves are changing. It's cooling off some. But to be honest with you, I think I might switch over to spring because summer's, coming right behind that. And it is beautiful and everything starts to pop out. Let's see. Can you possibly show us how to properly make a custom template for a cuirass? Brandon, Armentrout. Yeah, we're working on that. We still are. An armor, that's a big bite and multiple, because there's so many. Just with a basic suit, I think there's 7 pieces with articulation and whatnot. But then beyond that, they're bolt on. It's like a 66 Mustang. You can put anything on a suit of armor. A suit of armor creates about 15 more projects. Man, I apologize. We've been talking about that for a while. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, bit by bit. So give us a minute, but let me see if I can explain my cuirass without going into a lot of detail. If you think of a T-shape, with a hole right in the longest bar. And you think of that just bending over. That's your neck hole. Then the two wings, you can bring those out and around and connect those on the sides. So therefore, it's easy in and out, which I don't have a Squire. I've never had a Squire. Can't afford a Squire. So we got to be able to put these on by ourselves. And with that, you usually can. If you connect on the sides, you usually can. Or think of maybe an H shaped, where we've got our neck hole right in the middle of the longest bar, and then we bend that down, and then the wings on both sides can come around, and we can secure that. I don't know if that's helpful or not. That's how that's how one of mine is done. That's what we'll do in the series because it's very easy. It's easy to measure. We don't really have a lot of forming to that. Okay, here's the cool point. For those of us with a little bit of spare tire here, yeah, it really pulls that spare tire and makes us look buff. Yeah, until we take it off and everything, gravity hits, right? But anyway, yeah, so see if that helps. Play with that, though. Get you some cardboard, like from, the pharmacy or the grocery store, and use that to make a pattern. It'll bend a little bit like leather. I wouldn't say you can form it, but you can bend it every inch, and that'll give it a good curve. But, if you trash one piece, that's like 85 cents. Pick up another piece, take what you learned from that first piece, push that over, and then, you know what? That's how I did it. I never had a pattern. It was just a process of Bruce. Process of elimination. We've got claws, and evidently we're not sleepy yet. I gave him a big lunch, hoping he would, sleep through the afternoon, but he's not going to do that. So, let's see if I can get a piece of string that'll occupy him for a little bit, because I'll never concentrate on this. Anyway, sorry about that. I'm by myself here. Let's see. Mohammed Albana, our teacher. A question. Thank you. I hope so. I fell into teaching. I'm not educated there. I hope it works. Let's see. I'm going to use the snaps. I'm going to use the snaps button and buckles with chrome tan. So will it oxidize? Yes, very likely. Chrome's bad about oxidizing metals. Now, moisture typically is the biggest problem, like with tack, because it's out in the weather. That's going to tarnish quick. But I think with like maybe a purse or bag pouch that's not in the weather, it eventually will oxidize, but I might give it 6-8 years. Now that's just a guess. I've got chromes all over the shop, and I've got 2 or 3 over there that I know have been on the project for at least 5 years. I've been with Weaver 5 years, actually 5 years and 8 days, or 5 years in 8 days. But so I would say years and years. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Yeah, use your hardware on your chromes, and it will be beautiful for years to come. If it tarnishes in 10 years, you know what? That's the best. He's going to step on a button here, and we're going to go away. So sit that guy aside. I knew that was a mistake, but we've had some comments, and of course we got some artwork coming. So yeah, my lovely but thoroughly useful, unhelpful assistant, useless, I should say. Brandon, thank you very much. No, you guys are. Y'all drive this. Super stressful. I spend my whole morning trying to get my notes together, notes from the boss and homework, and getting all that stuff done. Excuse me, it's kind of stressful. When that clock hits 2:59, butterflies. But you know what? At 2:59, I've already got comments up here saying, hello, I made it, I'm happy. A whole world of difference. It really is, y'all. Thank you. And I say that a lot, but bottom of my heart, thank you for being here. And I hope we get some good info, not to talk cat or food, So, let's try. I'll try to stay focused, on task. Nah, not going to happen. Let's see. Frank Marvitz, have you ever made a chair with leather, a leather chair? No, but there's all kinds of little cool stools. Now, a director's chair, different. I have made one of those sometime long ago, because you're basically just making the seat and the back, and you can slide a dowel, sew it, and that slides right in. But I did see one at Schultz Tannery one time, and it was the most beautiful work I've ever seen. It was a director's chair. The backing and the seat were totally hand tooled. I don't think it was Sheridan, but it was close. It was that type. And it had just a hint of like a medium blue painted in there. I still remember that. That was 20 years ago. I've always wanted to do one, but all kinds of cool little tripod camp stools. There's all kinds of great ways to go with a chair. Yeah, let us know. You know, if you dive into that and you make one, let us know. Love to hear about that. Let's see. Guns and Diesel 419 tips on doing leather work full time. That's a hard one. No, absolutely possible. Absolutely, and you can do great with it. You'll get a following that's and it will snowball. The reason I'm hesitant there is it's tough to break between hand and machine made. Now, hand, absolutely, but we just can't make a living like tooling. We can't charge enough for tooling, or hand sewing falls into that category. Things that are just really time consuming. We can't charge for those. We can. But what happens is we start with kind of the shotgun effect to our audience base. And as we move forward, that kind of narrows down to this certain set of audience or buyers or prospects. Hopefully that doesn't get too small, because then you don't have enough people placing orders often enough. Yeah, absolutely you can, but equipment would be a big help, like the 4-ton. Just something to cut pieces. You can cut your cutting time by 95% with, say, a clicker or a sewing machine. Problem is, now we're starting to talk a little money. You could be 8 or 10 grand into this before you sell your first product, but there's no reason you can't. Now, what I did was I just started on the side. So I had my full-time job, and I was working. There's a sword company out east of Atlanta called Museum Replicas. And I started my business on their business. They put some of my items in their catalog. And actually at the end, I think they have an 88-page catalog. I think I had something on every page. Well, most of these were sheaths. I did sheaths for all their swords. But I worked it. You know what? I did the late night hours, months and months and months, until I felt like I had enough business to jump over full time. And I did. A little rocky, it's a little rocky, because when you become your own boss, banks are no longer your friend. Okay, first off, insurance gets expensive. And the problem is you spend maybe 2.5 hours out of an 8-hour day doing administrative stuff, all your taxes, billing, shipping, buying. Yeah. So you end up spending about 25% of your time on your on admin stuff. It has to be done. There's no way around it. The problem is that's not making money. That's not creating products that make money. Well, it's part of it. It's called COB, or cost of business, or cost of doing business. You have to. You've got to ship. You got to hit the post office or get your boxes and packages ready. Retail is tough because every order is one at a time. Now, you can stock. Absolutely. The problem is you got to invoice everyone by itself. You got a credit card bill, everyone by itself. Box, everyone by. Yeah, so you kind of get bogged up in that. But equipment, best way to go. I'm rolling. Sorry, that big rant there. I'll back up. I've missed like 25 questions. But I would say go for it. Just make sure you're in the financial position to carry yourself for 6 months. It didn't take me that long. Yeah, just in case, because the economy, who's elected into the White House, that has a lot to do with it. Your state, your taxes. So dive in. But equipment will be a big help. Anyway, okay, so enough of that. But yeah, I know I keep saying do it. Don't hold me to that one. Don't hold me to that one. Okay, let me back up a little bit, because I just see them flying by and I can't answer all of these and I feel bad. Let's see. Okay. Frank Marvis, stool with no back. That's cool. No, please, no apology. Come in as many times as you want to. Absolutely. And I can't answer all these questions. So, I've got names here of so many people that are helping out, answering questions. 39 pages of comments from our last show last week. Been read every one of them. Absolutely. And I always do. But yeah, thank you for helping out, because I can't, sometimes I just don't know the answer. Oddly enough, a lot of the questions we get at Weaver, some of them can be very obscure. I'll research these, but we've got one on patent leather here that I don't have a good answer for, but I got a reason I don't have a good answer, but we'll get over to that in our homework segment. But yes, please help out. Okay, let's see, Michael Donahue. That is my goal too. Working for yourself, you can absolutely do it. I had a customer at my old store, bless his heart. He came in, he was up in his years, and this is a great story. Not long, I won't roll. I can't remember his name. I think it was Robert. Anyway, the point is, he said his wife had passed, and she handled all the finances. Excuse me. So he wasn't aware that they had two mortgages on their house, and he was on Social Security, and he was literally in dire straits. And he came in, he said, I want to start doing a little leather work. And I'm not kidding, we have an enormous flea market here. Huge. Yeah, it's indoors. It's storefronts on it. It's crazy. It's beautiful. I actually saw him at that flea market a couple of years later after I'd long left Rhymes with Candy. And he was doing great. He had a booth and he was surrounded by belts that he made. He said, Chuck, I'm totally out of debt and actually in the plus. I almost wanted to cry, and I might now. The gentleman was probably in his late 70s, and he was jamming. That was the coolest thing I think I've ever seen in leather work. I'll think of his name 1 minute after we end this. Yeah, or at 3 a.m. But so when you think of what you need to think of at 3 a.m, go ahead and send it in. But anyway, okay. Let's see. Okay, Andrew Murphy, very cool, Chuck. I've been doing leather work off and on for 20 plus, and I hand stitch everything. Thanks for the videos you guys did for the hand sewing. I learned a lot. How to hide the knots. Man, I'm with you. I've got two machines. I've got the Cub, and I love it. It'll sew like 7/8 of an inch thick. And I've got a less expensive, just a standard production machine. I rarely turn them on. Now, the Cub, I'm going to get into that. We recently got it. Great machine. Wow. I can't wait to try this hand crank, right? But on my Concho, it's a mid-level, mid-weight machine. I almost never turn it on. Every time I turn it on, I have to oil the whole thing because it's been so long since I used it, simply because I love the hand stitching. I have so much more control. My machine is set up for a production shop. So the treadle in 1/16 of an inch goes from 1 stitch a second to 300 a second. I'll just mow right off the edge. I've got to be so careful with that. I can update that with a machine, with a motor. I just haven't. I love to hand sew. It just looks good, but at the same time, I'm not producing projects or products for sale. And that's a big difference there. We can enjoy it then. But jumping back over to working for yourself, this is a funny comment. When you work for somebody else, you have a boss, maybe a boss or two. When you jump over to working for yourself, you have 20 bosses. Well, what I mean by that is every time you have a customer, you have a boss. They expect it to be done right. They expect it to ship on time. Yeah, no excuses, So yeah, you go from 1 or 2 bosses to 20 bosses, and you wear 30 different hats. You're the accountant, you're janitorial, you're purchasing, advertising, production. Yeah, you do every job. So get used to putting those different hats on all day long. So anyway, all right. So back over here, Vanessa Kitty, it's good to hear from you. Very cool. Oh, cool. Okay. Gibby's wife, thank you. The stress is there until I see your comments, and then let's just talk. The only thing I hate is that I'm the only one talking. We've got the comments coming in, but I wish we could all sit in one big room and just all talk at once. Yeah, that's not right. That's not a great plan. But along those lines, I wish we could be face to face. All our shows have been canceled this year. We haven't done a single show this year, and that's unfortunate. But next year we're going to get on it, and I hope I'll be able to meet as many folks as I can when we do these shows around the country, and maybe we can set up some more. I'm going to try to hit some Ren fairs too. I'd love to hit Houston Ren Fair. Definitely Ohio. We've got some folks from the company that want to go to a Ren Fair. That's going to be an awakening for them. Yeah, Amish country to a Ren Fair. Yeah, but they're a lot of fun. Nonetheless, a lot of fun and good people. Costumers are just like leather people. Dragon Con is 68 or 80,000 friends. And it really feels that way. So, leather folks, we have friends everywhere, literally all over our country and world. That is cool. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, okay. Chuck, is kip skin appropriate for a veg tan briefcase liner? Absolutely. I love the kip skin. The only thing I hate about kip skin is the skive or the flesh side is so pretty. I don't want to put glue on it. It's like velvet. But yeah, I love the kip skin. It's got a little bit of a grain to it. I think it's like a 1 to 2 ounce, maybe somewhere there. So super supple, beautiful grain, beautiful flesh side. It's a little expensive, but so well worth it. I love to line the holsters with it. It's thin and it's beautiful, glues well. Absolutely, I love it. So, okay, kip skin. Let's see. Um, excuse me, Jan. Please just wander off your thoughts. I kind of love it. Well, thank you. We'll fit together well because it seems to be a bit of a one of my strengths. Let's see. Another one of my strengths is complaining. Yeah, right. My boss. Yeah, she'll go. Oh man, here we go again. But in my defense, all the most successful people all say, go with your strengths. Mine is complaining. Okay, I got to have something to complain about. It keeps me alive, I guess. Anybody else like that? Okay, let me jump over. All right. I know we're half hour into this. I'm still rattling. Okay. All right, so let's see. All right, Thunderous Night, we got you an address there. Please take your time. I'd take your time. In fact, man, now he's sleeping on the samples I'm going to have to use here in a second. Okay, but all right, Crafter Fail of the Week. Thank you for sending these in. I've been in first place all along. Flashpoint Bravo, Fail of the Week, bless your heart. Invested 10 hours tooling sandals and accidentally antiqued 2 different colors. Man, I haven't done that yet, but you know what? Now that I know it's possible, it's going to have. My one question is, how did it come out? Did it work for you by you got a 50-50 chance there. Did it work out or not? Man, it's not funny when it happens. It may never be funny, but nonetheless, I hope eventually, it's just one of those where you just throw your hands up in the air. It's going to happen. I think we did a whole segment on paying attention, and I'm not the one to, preach on that. I'm not, you've seen these, paying attention, right? Okay. Okay. Bob Haney, my crafter failed. Rivet too close to the edge. Bad outcome. Yep, that's a common one because we need a little room there, don't we? And we don't. Yeah. The rivet caps are always larger than we think. I've set hundreds of thousands of rivet caps, and they always are a little bit larger than I think they are, man. Bob, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you can work that project back. Yeah. My dad always said golfers, we all make the same, pro golfers all make the same mistakes as the rest of us. They just know how to get out of them. Yeah. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't. But Bob, I hope that came out for you. Okay, let's see. Let me jump over to homework right quick, and then I'll get back over here. Let's see. We had, oh man, and I'll never find it. Oh, we had a comment from someone, and I'll find it 2 minutes after we close out. That the belt blank was too short. And please comment, return that, or give us a call. Yeah, talk to the boss. Yeah, if that happened, give us a call, return it. 100% satisfaction guaranteed. We're just based on quality, and it's in our product, but it's also in our people. And I can say that I love working for Weaver. It is 320 something happy people, which is really very rare. Yes, if you get something you're not happy with it, send it right back. We will take care of you. Okay. Let's see. International shipping. I'm still working on that. We've got 2 vendors, but I haven't researched them yet. We've got Canada and Europe, I think. So I'm pushing hard on this. I'm going to stay on this. They don't listen to what I say. But I'm going to keep pushing. Not really. They sort of do. Sort of. Okay. Anyway, before I get in trouble. And I'm not here next week. Anyway, we've got 2. We've got Canada, and then we've got Europe. But let me get a little more information on those, do a little more research. and push a little bit more to see if we can't find some vendors out across the world, at least one on every continent, to yes, where you don't have to pay the import taxes and wait, what could be a boat on the water. If it's going boat on the water, it could be weeks. But still working on that. And we at Weaver, we're going to try to work on that too. I bought my first leather. I'm from a tack store that sold it was just on a wall in the corner, a couple of pieces of suede, a couple of straps, maybe a box of rivets, bought a piece of suede, made a pair of moccasin boots. That was my first project. Put rabbit skin. Yeah, right. Yeah. Worked out. In fact, working right now on, should have a video done, hoping to have it done tomorrow on lace up leggings. Mainly for our costume folks, because we have a couple of problems. Now, but at the same time, if we like to hike or hunt or camp or just like the look, yeah, this will sound familiar because I said it like 35 times to get it right. Because the intro sets the mood for the whole thing, But anyway, for us costume people, affordable, comfortable footwear is a problem. And it's always been, I've got 6 pair of boots that I bought over the years that I absolutely love, put them on, can't wear them. The last pair, I spent $200 on these boots. Knee-high boots, Concho lace up. They are the most stiff, uncomfortable boots I have ever put on. I can't wear them for 20 minutes. All right, so the point here is we can make our own leggings. So therefore, we can go to a store and we can buy a cool pair of, say, Western boots or work boots. Then we can make a pair of spats. Basically, leggings are just spats. We can make a pair of leggings that will match that pair of boots. Black, easiest. Man, we got all kinds of leathers that'll match black. Brown, I'm using our water buffalo. It's distressed, and I'm using a pair of Western boots. But the point there is that we can spend 5% of an expensive pair of boots. Yeah, some of the Wren boots are $1,500. Now they're made to your foot, and they're gorgeous. That's 4 car payments. I'm not going to drop that on a pair of boots I'm going to wear 4 or 5 times a year. All right, so let's buy an inexpensive but comfortable pair of boots. Let's make some leggings, and we look great. Put a boot strap or spur strap on those. They look great. Cool part. We can decorate the flap, the body, the connection. There's all kinds of cool ways. I haven't gotten to that point in the video yet, but I'm going to try to show all kinds of cool options for decorations on these. A lot of ways we can go, but it's a very simple project. Other than the billets, it's only 4 pieces. Yeah, because I'm taking the piece and just bending it over for our flap. Anyway, enough on that. I should have that finished tomorrow, and very likely that'll be out. I think a week from this Friday. I think coming up this Friday is tooling a simple Celtic knot. So, here's a funny note. We released Shop Tricks Part 5 last Friday, and the wood handle strapper. If you get the yarn reversed in it, the leather's going to catch, and it's going to make you crazy because you can't figure out. It's got a little cut, right? Yeah. I wasn't even going to include that trick or tip in that video. I almost dropped it simply because I thought, well, this one's weak. But that's the one we got the most comments on. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just going to toss them in there and I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Hope for the best, right? But on the Shop Tricks, I think I have 3 pages of those. Now, I've got maybe half of those highlighted as done. But I think we can do about 10 parts on that. And I'll do my best. We'll have another one of those coming up soon. We got a new cat, so outtakes, obviously, that's a no-brainer. We're going to have several of those coming up. Okay, so I know I'm just rolling. All right, notes from the boss. We have got 50% off on Conchos right now. And this is promo code Conchos. And you're going to enter that at checkout. We're going to talk about some Conchos. If you're new to leather, these are cool. But there's a couple of ways we can use these. Also, 10% off the Santa Rosa leather with the code TAKE10. That's TAKE and then the number 10. Beautiful leather. Person bag and pouch. Absolutely. Leggings. That would make a gorgeous pair of leggings. Anyway, okay, so notes from the boss there. All right, let me jump over. We got a couple of questions. I'm going to knock these out because some of these are kind of important here. We had a couple of comments last week on cutting leather wet. Is it easier to cut leather wet or dry? I would definitely say go dry. Now, that's just my opinion. It might cut easier wet, but the bigger problem is when it's wet, it's so susceptible. Yeah, I know, susceptible to dents and dings. And we're going to use our square. We could even make a ding in wet leather with our thumb, or templates, or patterns, or French curves. My worry there is that we're going to ding that leather, and cutting it, we're probably early in the project. So I would definitely say dry, cut dry. On thicker leathers, you can go 3, maybe 4 passes if you need to. Some of the armor weight, some of the 2022 ounce, that might be 7 passes with my knife. Makes me a little bit crazy, but the outcome, it's well worth it. But if you keep that blade, if you keep that blade as straight as you can, and then your second pass, keep that blade angle low, that blade's actually going to follow the previous cut. So you can make multiple cuts in a piece of leather, and it's going to have a perfectly square edge. Just take your time and just try to keep that knife straight up and down. Now, if you don't really keep that knife straight up and down, you're okay. As long as you're going at the same angle, if it's a little bit off, that's not really going to be that big of a problem. The problem is if you take that panel and turn it around and you come in at that same angle, now you're going to have little pieces. It's going to be a mess. So at least try to stay on one side, or keep that blade angle low. If you're cutting something really thick, don't worry about making multiple passes. You can absolutely do it, and it'll look fine. That's what I do with all of the armor. I can't cut any of that in 1, 2, or sometimes even 3 passes. So yeah, absolutely cut. I would say go dry though, for safety. Let's see. Let's see. Oh man, some of these are really long, and I should have prepped on that. Let's see. What's the best way to store your leather? I Oddly enough, when I get a box in, and I don't, yeah, you can probably see them over here. It's a leather box. So at Weaver, we're going to send you something to store leather in. You're welcome. No, thanks. And some pattern paper. The paper wrapping on the leather, it makes great patterns. In fact, I've got 2 or 3 on my table right now. So what I'll do is I'll take one of these long boxes and cut the end at an angle, and then slide that into my shelf. So light fading is the problem. Oxidizing a little bit, but light fading is the bigger problem there. Best way to go is in a dark room. Yeah, I'm probably not going to go to that much trouble. Or a trash bag, one of the big, like a contractor bag. Just keep your veg tan in that. You'll be fine. But all told, with light fading, you can use the light faded leather with a medium to darker dye, like say in the pro dye, like well, walnut and down. You're probably not going to be able to tell the difference between light faded and not. The only trick is try not to get your pattern cut across a section that isn't faded and is faded. But for the most part, light fading, it just happens. It is what it is. Especially in my weaver shop, because I've got all the lights around for shooting. That can light fade, and I wouldn't say fast. It could take months, before I start to really notice it. But simply under your table, just away out of direct light, is probably going to be fine for you. But if you want to go full out, just put that in a contractor's bag, like one of the black big trash bags. It'll be fine. Be fine for years, actually. So okay, hopefully that'll help. Okay, let's see. I can't seem to sort out which is what when it comes to setters and snaps. Yeah, and this can be confusing. Segment setters and snaps, glove 2024. Yes. All right. So we've got a video. I've been doing these for 5 years now. I'm starting to forget what I've done. But I believe we have a video on setting the different snaps. I've never been a fan of the segment. Well, until I joined Weaver. Now I've gotten in the habit of not liking them. But the problem is I'm now using quality segment. They set like a breeze. The cheap segment, when you set the female piece, what you would have to do is I would take a cedar and have to stick it in and kind of open it up. Well, very unscientific, because if you get that just a hair too much open, the snap won't bite. Hair too tight, and it won't take the male piece, right? So, but now that I'm using the quality segment snaps, I love them. They set so well. Anyway, look back to our leather element. I'll see if I can find that too. Let me jot that down. Element on snaps. I'll see if I can't get the name for that. But yeah, that because the setters are when you see the difference between them, totally obvious. You'll never mistake them again. So see if that helps. But 20s, line 24s are just a common snap. You see those on everything. Those are good for 7 to 8, 8 to 9. Line 20, those are good for maybe 5 to 6, maybe up to 7 to 8. I'm not big on the 20s simply because that post, it's a little thin and it's very easy to crush it as opposed to roll it down. They're not bad, but I struggle with line 20s if I'm trying to set those by hand. Let's see. Okay, Vanessa Kitty, how is the smell after laser cutting the leather? Two ways. Veg tan, not great, but it's not bad. Chrome tan, a little bit toxic. Yeah, you're burning chromium salts and some chemicals in there. Neither's great. But the veg is no problem. But chrome tans, yeah, those need a very good ventilation system if you're laser burning or cutting those. Okay, let's see. Kyle Taylor, do you think braiding a leather strap improves its comfort? Think of making a camera strap. Absolutely, absolutely do. I like the trunk handle, but that's really more of a handle. Very comfortable. Oddly enough, that seam just seems to fit right in the bend in your knuckles. But yes, on the strap, I love the mystery braid. You've got the strength there. Say a 3/4 inch strap, you split that in your quarters. You still have the same strength of a 3/4 inch strap, but to me, that seems very comfortable in my hand. Whereas that same 3/4 inch wide, it's a strap, it'll work in my hand. But when it's got a mystery braid, it just seems to be a little bit more comfortable. I love the round braid, but there's no way to connect that. There is, but with clips and clamps and yeah, it's beautiful and it's comfortable, but there's just no good way to connect that to the project. Where a mystery braid, I said mystery braid because a braid is great, same thing, but a mystery braid allows you two billets on each billet on each end, which gives you an area to whether you can rivet or Chicago screw or sew that on. So the mystery braid, man, that's a cure-all for straps and handles. I love them and use them all the time. But good question. Very good question. Okay, Liana S., could you offer any ideas for the Christmas holiday season? Yeah, about right now. Thank you for bringing that up because about right now is when we start working towards that. Did some last year, not my favorites. We did a pumpkin mouse pad. It was pretty. Very, very nice color. Mixing the dyes. And then I did one with it kind of blowing in the wind, kind of a evil, yeah, not evil, just scary pumpkin kind of blow. I don't know if we actually released that one because it didn't. Yeah, we're gonna do our best this year to try to come up with some really cool Christmas ideas. They're out there. We'll come up with some. Right off the bat, ornaments. There are some with wet forming and acrylic paints and stamping and tooling. There's so many cool ways you could go with ornaments, or boxes. And my wife and I have done this. If you go to one of the craft stores, you can buy the inexpensive little leather boxes. Then you can glue leather onto that, chromes or veg. You could do a little stamping. We did one where we took a template, laid that on, and just hit it with probably not an acrylic spray paint. I can't remember. Nonetheless, hit it with a spray paint, lift it. It looked great. It looked very cool. So yeah, there's all kinds of cool ways to go with Christmas and simply gift ideas. So thanks for bringing that up. We're going to start working on that about right now. Okay, so let's see. Okay, one more. Xander Blythe. Hey, Chuck, any tips on how to keep natural veg projects clean? I'm with you on that. I love a project without any dye. I would say add your top coat. Almost as soon as you cut, maybe go ahead and top coat your panels. That way, if something gets on it, like us and oils and who knows what else for our pattern or our shop, if you top coat it, it's going to keep it clean through the process. That's really the only thing I can offer, but that's worked real well for me in the past. Hit it with that top coat. That's going to protect it. Then you can go through the whole production process, most likely without any problems. And I love a natural veg. It's gorgeous, but when you hit it with a nice top coat, just makes it pop. Gives it a nice low gloss. Leather Balm is good. Gives it a beautiful low gloss. So yeah, I think hopefully that's good advice for you. Let's see. Okay. David Welch, when you're doing a belt carving and you paint the background, can you oil it afterwards? I probably, oil is such a problem. It's it it resists everything. Adhesives, top coats, dyes. It's a problem. Um, on that one, I might say yes if you're using a good acrylic paint and it's got plenty of dry time. I might say go after. My only issue there is if we oil before, then I think that's going to cause an issue with the paint adhering, and it's probably not going to wick at all. So if there's ever a little scratch on it, it's probably going to go right through to the naked leather. Um, that's a tough one to call because I don't use oil. I do lightly on a rag, and we've been over this, but it's more of a cleaning than an oiling between dye and top coat. Um, with my pro dye, we've got an oil based dye stuff, so we get a little oil in there, clean it with a little bit of oil, and then top coat it with like the leather balm. I love a little wax in there. We can get a little wax in that leather. So I feel like that process, that combination, gives me a belt or a project it's got some suppleness to it, as much as can be expected from a veg. Um, but it's protected, and it's got some good long term durability in it. It's just like a car. Leather's just like our car. Oil makes it last. That's exactly right. Problem with the leather is we get too much oil on it, it becomes an absolute problem. And beyond making it, I've said in the past, and for all of us in hot climates, if we've got, say, a purse or a bag we've made with a high oil content leather, and it sits on a hot car seat, that oil is going to wick into that car seat, or us, or a friend, or yeah, it can be a real problem. So okay, I rolled on that one long enough. All right, so let me jump over here because Conchos theme of the week. We're at 50 minutes, and I haven't even gotten rolling yet. I hope that's okay with everybody. And I've got falling behind here. Um, let's see, the Celtic Dragoness, very cool. Um, oh, let's see. Okay, I gave some help there. Early stages, making custom bracelets, and bracers. I'm so happy to hear that, and I hope you're having a great time with it and making beautiful stuff with it. I say that over and over, but I absolutely mean it. Um, let's see. Okay, Flashpoint Bravo, Guns and Diesel, quit your day job. I'll make you hustle. There you go. Um, yeah, that okay, there we go. I use a machine because it saves me time and I still work full time. That's actually very, very oh, benefits. Yeah, yeah, benefits. That's a biggie for us. Let's see. Okay. Okay, Ahmad Shine, fail of the week. We've got another one. I don't mean to take pleasure in these. I really don't. It just makes me feel better that, you know what, I'm not the only one. And probably we all have that same feeling. We're not the only one that makes the goofy mistakes. Pros, top end pros, they still make mistakes, and sometimes they're goofy. We don't. Nobody says it. Those are ones we're not going to let out of the bag. I've got one here. I'm not gonna. We're not going there. Anyway, let's see. Okay, I am making a handbag for my sister's birthday and put the snap button in reverse inside the bag, and that's an easy snaps. That yes, and because if you want to bring something around and clip it like a keychain, well, you've got to reverse that back piece. But if you want it to come together in a circle, that needs to be on the top grain. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully you drilled it out. Yeah, if you use I think it's about a 3/16 inch drill bit. All you where that post rolls down in there, all you have to do is drill that little roll, and it'll just come right apart. You won't damage the leather, nothing. You can put another snap, and you'll never know that. Yeah, we did a video on removing rivets, and I'm pretty sure I did snaps too. I'm sorry to hear that. It's frustrating. I don't mean to make light of it. I don't. It'll be funny soon. It's funny after you correct it and it came out okay. But yeah, between here and there. Let's see. Okay. Uh, all right. Let's see. Andrew Murphy, thank you for helping out here. I'm not able to keep up. Chuck, I've started. Let's see. Oops. oops, I'm going a little, Michael, we'll get to that one. But I've done leather work for a living, and you can do that for a living. And the advice I give you, always keep learning and just not settle on making one thing. That's exactly right. That with my business, I think I had 248 different projects or products that I made. But some were like a mug strap, So yes, your price points. You need to cover a lot of price points. Because if everything's 400 and up, you're cutting that shotgun effect down to a very few that can afford that. But advice, absolutely. Thank you for chiming in on that one. Everybody that's putting in some advice here, thanks for helping out. But at the same time, thanks for putting in good comments. Let's see, Mubby Brickflex. Oh man, you know what? Happy to have you here anytime. Let's see. Okay, let's see, Jeremy. I must have missed one here on the bellies. Oh man, Bob just bought a belly based on a recommendation here last week. Not let's see, I think it's the glossy finish rather than the belly, though. Bob, I'm sorry. Don't hesitate to send that back. Don't just send that baby back. If you want to try another one, let us know. Yeah, because I've got one here. It doesn't have a high gloss on it. I'm sorry I recommended something you're not happy with. Send it back. Let's see what we can do to help you out, and maybe bump you up to a single shoulder. Bob, I'm sorry to hear that. We'll do our best to help you on that one. Let's see. Okay, Jeremy Alexander bought several. Let's see. Yeah, the bottom edge is unusable. Yeah, that's kind of where the cow comes around, and that bottom edge, because of the arms, typically there's a spot there that can be stretchy. So yeah, the bellies are good if you're beginning and you're making small projects. Bob, send that baby back. Absolutely, 100% guaranteed satisfaction. Okay, let's see. Let me jump back over here because I know we're at 3:52 already. I had some homework here. Let me see. Okay. It's not on my homework. Welcome to my world. Oh, and I forgot what I was. Oh, patent leather. Okay, patent leather. We had a question, can I make my own patent leather? We're stumped on this one because I'm not sure what kind of a varnish a tannery is going to use, but it's a heavy slick. I mean, it's a machine slick, hard, with a varnish. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that ourselves. Likely, but that would be a major process, and it'd actually probably be more trouble than actually just buying a piece. I don't use a lot of a patent. The biggest problem with patent is fingerprints. You have to clean that every time you touch it, you get fingerprints on it. And I mean, it's hard to even keep it that way. If you're going to deliver it to a friend or, somebody you sold it to, put it in a bag, and give it to them in the bag. That's the only way you can make sure there's not fingerprints all over it. But it is beautiful. It can be very beautiful. Let's see. Okay. Micah Hunter, is it better to punch my stitching holes before or after? It doesn't matter. I haven't ever had a problem with that. A lot of times I like to dip dye because it covers every edge, hole, the skive side. If we've got oblongs, it covers everything. Like with a dauber and oblong, it's a good point because if you try to get that dauber in there, now you've got a dark area around the oblong simply because that's got so much more dye in it than everywhere else. So I dip dye simply because it's consistent, it's easy, it's fast, it's not messy, but at the same time, it covers everything. Okay. I've chiseled after I've dyed. So the point, you've got some naked veg down in there, but it's deep enough in the hole where the stitch tends to cover it anyway. I would say chisel before dyeing knocks out all our issues. But if we dye for it, we make an accident, we make a mistake, we dye, I've done this. I did this last week, dyed something before I was supposed to. It's not going to be an issue. You can chisel, no problem. Oh, Alma Deckard. Great. So keep my Dremel hand. Dremel is a great tool. I've got one simply because I have another hobby, model railroading nerd geek right here. But Dremels are great. All kinds of cool attachments. I need to pull it out and start using that over in my leather work. let's see. Oh, Bob, not a Weaver product, Chuck. I'm in the UK. Bob, I'm sorry nonetheless. I'm sorry nonetheless that you got that. I hate that. Once in a while, yeah, my advice isn't as good as it could be. Okay, let's see. I've fallen behind again. I've fallen so I'm sorry, y'all. I can't. I want it one at a time, and I don't do that. Let's see. Uh, Saddle soap, yeah, cleaning after it's. Oh yeah. Okay, Matthew Pusick. I hope I'm saying that right, Matthew. Please forgive me if I'm not. Yeah, my wife. We have a horse. My wife rides. I mean, saddle slope is the best thing she's ever seen. She uses it on her saddles and her tack. It's beautiful. It'll clean up a saddle nicely. She rides English. Yeah, boo. I mean, Western. Come on, the tooled saddles and tack. And no, she rides dressage. Hunter. Let's see, just dressage. I'll remember. She's in 3 different events. But anyway, yeah, the saddle stuff is a great product, very much so. And yeah, Matthew grew up around horses. That's exactly right. Um, let's see. Okay, Tammy Hopkins, DG Saddlery has a great video on oiling leather. I'm gonna watch that because yeah, I'm real negative towards oiling leather. Well, certain types of leather and certain processes. But yeah, it's longevity. That's exactly right. If we can keep that leather oiled, it'll last for years and years. Um, okay, let's see. Okay, Micah putting in some good advice there. Put a suede liner in a gun holster. Okay, 2 points here. Suede chrome. So we don't want to line a holster with that. But yeah, there's always a but. With my old company, I had a customer that ordered 5,000 snaps a month, 5,000 line 24s a month. He made holsters. He was in Alabama. He made holsters. If he ordered 5,000 snaps a month, he was making a lot of holsters. He lined every holster with suede. We sold him pig suede. You know what? I've always heard don't line a holster or sheath with suede. Well, as always, there's a but. Moisture to me is more the problem. If moisture gets in there, it's going to tarnish overnight. If it stays dry and your gun isn't in it, say 24/7 for 5 years, then it's not really an issue. Suede gives it some grip, much like a saddle seat. So that might help. But on the other side of that, suede's bad about fuzz, getting in and yeah, gumming up your gun. So, man, it's a 50-50 on that. I can't give you an absolute yay or nay. A pro I know uses it and loves it. I've always heard don't use suede in your holster. Again, I think I would just not. You know what? Let's just skip the problems of the fuzz and the chrome salts. Let's just go with the good veg. And we can get a pretty dye. We could get a number of different colored dyes in that if we're going to dye that separately. Now, one thing on holsters that I've heard from the absolute pros, Ed Lucas being one of these gentlemen, is to line your holster after you form it. Which when we like say we lay in our liner, we tool our holster and we lay in our liner and then we sew it in. When we bend that, wet form bend that, we're going to get ripples in that liner. And it can be a problem. It's not clean and smooth. So what the pros will say is line your holster after you bend it. I haven't done this yet. I've used the kip skin and haven't had any trouble. And I've used some of the Weaver Select 2 to 3 ounce and haven't really had any trouble. The trouble I have is when I bend around is not so much the bend, but I'll lay my clip in and then line inside my clip so metal's not touching gun. I'll get a little ripple coming into that clip. So lining after I bend, I'm going to start doing that. But that's super good advice from the best holster makers I know. Okay, so let's see. Okay, Ryan Kennedy, Chuck, I was wondering if you could do a video about oil tan leathers versus veg tan and chrome tan. Oh, absolutely. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good leather element segment. So yeah, all right, on that point, and I'm going to come back to this. On that point, don't hesitate to put in some comments if you want to see, any given subject in a leather element. I've got pages of these. Some are weak. Some might fit more into the shop tricks than a full, leather element, 6 to 10, 12 minutes. But y'all, yeah, send in your thoughts. If you want to see a leather element on a certain topic or technique or tool, please send those in. Absolutely. That's a big help to me in picking these. So because that way I kind of figure out what y'all are looking for, what you need. Let's see. Oh man, let's see. Was that let's see, J Topek or yeah, if how to dye leather white, but to keep it flexible, I've tried to man, there's just not a white dye out there. Vibing's had one years ago. It was before I actually really started to dye. So I don't know. I tell you what, if we could get a good white dye, we could mix any dye color. That's the only thing holding us back from those really pretty lighter colors, like a good strong teal. Oh, I love a beautiful teal or turquoise, or a good light purple. We can mix a pretty good purple with what we have in the Pro line, but to get a really bright purple, we've got to have some white. I'm sorry, I don't. The only white I've seen is tanned at is dyed at the tannery. For like old school, like the old British cross straps, and bands, marching bands, the flag bearers. They have the straps with the cup that hold the flag. That's really almost the only time I've seen whites other than chromes. But that's probably not what you're asking. Yeah, man, I wish we could find a good white dye out there, a good white pro dye. We could make so many colors. We can mix pretty well. We can get some really pretty orange, shades of orange, shades of purple. We can get close to maybe a teal. It's just not vibrant. It's that was just not vibrant like I would hope. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Oops, I went a little too fast. All right, let's see. Okay, Daughter of the Wild. Is it safe to scavenge? There's an N in there. All right, leather couches. If you're in an area that has had a problem with bed bugs, well, you need to treat the leather. I don't know. That's one I don't know. But you can treat the leather. I mean, oils, your whole line of oils, rubbing or denatured, it's not going to affect the finish. I don't really know on that one. That's not something I've had to deal with. I would say yes, just to be safe, Let's see. Okay. Some guy like that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Andrew Riker, I really appreciate that you not only show how to put things together, you show the fundamentals and theories of making the templates. You are welcome. That's kind of been my thought from the beginning. Let's make these videos to where anybody, experienced or not, could sit down, understand the pattern, draw the pattern out, and then make every step. We've gotten a comment or two here. Oh, we should just make the project and not teach. It's not in me. Yeah. But at the same time, if we're doing that, we're not learning. We're not learning anything. And not that I'm the big teacher and I know everything. No, but I just can't do this without saying, here's why we do it, or here's an alternative to doing it. Our videos would be so much shorter. We're trying to hit 30 to 35 minutes, right? Statistics, analytics all say, 30 minutes, you start to lose viewers. Well, I can't do it in 30 minutes and show why. And the pattern's always the part that takes the most time because, yeah, you're right. Let's explain why we're doing this. Therefore, we all avoid a major problem. But at the same time, I take up a lot of time in the video saying, "Whoa, but here's a design option." Well, yes, absolutely. Let's explore the design possibilities because there's so many of them. Like the leggings, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm going to get these assembled. Then I'm going to plan out a short segment on here's all the possibilities that, or not all, couldn't do that. But here's at least some ideas to get you started, like on the flap. There's a couple of really cool ways we can go with the flap or change out the leather and sew in our own flap or make that flap match the tongue or the billets match the flap. I know. And that's just a flap. That's not even going into the full body. We could put in like spots or rivets, maybe in a diamond pattern. That would look cool. Or maybe run our billet straps all the way around. drop in rivets and spots. I know I'm rolling again, but that's the way leather is. There's no way one idea leads to 10 ideas, leads to 100 ideas, and all of a sudden we've got so many ideas we can't. Sometimes it's hard to. We don't want our project to look like a yard sale. Well, that's my personal opinion, right? For me, less is more. But part of the fun of starting a project is laying out all the hardware I'm going to use. But get my spots. Which spots am I going to use? Am I going to paint it? What's the color? What's the paint color going to look like next to the hardware, next to my dye color? Lace. Are we going to use lace? Alternate colors there. Rolling again. Sorry. Let's see. Okay, Mike, let me jump. We're already over an hour. I haven't even gotten to Conchos yet. Project of the week or product of the week. Conchos. We've got a sale on Conchos right now. Bruce is asleep. Literally is asleep in my belt. I'm gonna if I wait. Is he sleeping? Is he sleeping? I don't want to wake this one up. Anyway, so Conchos, love them, and that's upside down. There we go. We've done a couple of belt videos, but simple Conchos. If you're new to leather, these are we simply screw these on. They come with a screw. This one is in my box. But they come with a screw. We punch a hole. It's typically our largest hole in a revolving punch, and that drops in. Maybe think of an old belt. You love the belt, but it's kind of blah, blah. Punch a couple holes, add a couple of Conchos, and you are going to breathe new life into that belt. He's spread out. Excuse me, little buddy. Let me get because this is cool. These are very cool Conchos for the period, folks. Here's 2 war belts. Notice these big, heavy, flat Conchos. Nice hand-hammered look. And we've got them in multiple sizes. That's always a problem. Not always a problem. It's finding the Concho you want to use in multiple sizes. But aren't those cool? Got a nice knight's knot on those. Love the Conchos. They're such an easy decoration. But there's so much more we can do with Conchos. We can use those as a button. What we can do is take a little donut, and I'm going to circle back around to this. But a donut, I have a larger round hole punch. Like I've got a half, 3/4, and 1 inch. We don't all have those. We don't have to use a punch. You'll see where I'm going with this. But I'll punch a hole, and so I've got a little washer, and then I'll punch a hole in that with a smaller punch. So therefore, what I've got is a donut. So if I want to use that, if I've got a Concho, say my Concho, typically these are a 1/4 inch posts, typically. Now there's rivet on Conchos, absolutely, for lighter weight leathers. They tend to be the cheaper Conchos, and we can't trade them out. Anyway, this is usually a 1/4 inch. Well, sometimes if we're using a 4 to 5 ounce leather, we're going to have more post than leather. So this is going to spin on us. So just make that little donut, and I'm surprised I don't have one at hand. Make that little donut, put this in from the front. In fact, I think on my war belts, excuse me, Bruce, don't bother, don't mind me. Yeah, so right there, I've used a little donut on the back of that. Well, it actually kind of looks a little bit professional, but that's going to soak up some of that space, chew up some real estate, so therefore you can crank that Concho down. Now, here's a cool thought. Say we're using a small Concho. How about we take that donut and take it from the back of the leather and put it on the front? So it actually highlights the Concho that it's under, or maybe do a different color, or maybe scallop the edge around on that. Again, we just opened the door to 100 possibilities simply by taking a utility piece and taking it from the back to the front. Who knows what you could do? Connect 2 in an oblong. Yeah, I know. We're rolling again. Okay. Okay, here's one. Bob, possibly bronzing. Okay, I did have a question here on bronzing. If you've ever taken a piece of leather, dyed it, and then maybe at some time later you put another coat of dye on it, and you get this bronze effect, a metallic effect. That's called bronzing. All that is, and it's easy to clean off. All it is there's a metallic element to the dye stuff. So that's actually just sitting on your top grain. All you have to do is take a little alcohol, denatured or rubbing or ethyl, and it'll clean right off. And then add your top coat. You'll never have a problem. But that's what bronzing is. It's simply an element to the dye stuff. So yeah, you can clean it off very easy. My best friend's son made a suit of armor I know I point to that like you can see that. Big help. Yeah, thanks, Chuck. But yeah, we dyed it second time because it wasn't dark enough. He wanted a good chocolate, and we went, I think, with maybe a dark brown. Well, he went, and the whole thing bronzed. And I panicked. Well, I actually called Fibings. I know one of the gentlemen there. I called. He said, just clean it with alcohol. I did. It went away. It was no issue. Yeah, that was a nervous moment. Anyway, excuse me. Let's see, Bob. Let's see. I prefer the longer videos. Yeah, well, good. Bless your heart for saying that, because it's a constant battle to me to constantly try to cut that video down. When I edit, I can take out 2 or 3 seconds here and there, or maybe take out a little 20-second segment that kind of didn't really, it was a extra little bit of information. I hate cutting that. Why am I cutting out extra information? Well, it's because I'm at 43 minutes and I need to get as close to 35, 32, somewhere in there. I need a haircut. Yeah, even that's become a problem. So thank you for saying that. That's excellent. Yes. Okay, let's see. All right, Daughter of the Wild. Are there grommets that are small and quarter inch? Yeah, those are called eyelets. Well, technically, a grommet will go down. A grommet's a 2-piece. So you've got the face and a washer, for lack of a better term. Whereas an eyelet is just a 1-piece. So the eyelet goes through and it curls itself, whereas a grommet goes through, you drop a washer on, and then it curls onto that washer. Yeah, look for eyelets and see if I know those go down at least 1/8 of an inch, maybe smaller. But yeah, see if that helps. I hope that's good information for you. Let's see, Gary, you got my vote. Okay. Let's see, Jeremy. Use all your videos to help me come up with creative ideas as well as how to lay it out and make them possible to make that happen. I'm glad to hear that. Okay, good. You know what? Status quo. We'll stay on that. Absolutely. Chris, just got here. We're still going. Been going an hour and 15 minutes. I need a breather. I'm gonna pass out. Bruce already is. Anyway. Let's see. Okay, Leo Wild. Prefer the longer videos packed with good information. That's excellent. Okay, y'all. Thank you. Yeah, let's see, Bob. How to finish edges on shiny veg tan. It doesn't seem to edge groove properly. Man, I've run into that same problem, Bob. I really do. There are some leathers that just for no reason, they don't slick. For no reason that I can figure out. I try water, try gum track, try Atom Wax. I've even tried the RTC shirt and finish, resistant finish. You know what? There's some experts out there that probably can say, oh, that's because so and so, blah, blah. Common knowledge to them, not to me. I don't know. I've run into the same problem. I wish I could be of help to you on that one. I don't have a, let's see, Gary, okay, let's see. I'm going a little bit. All right, David, okay, yeah, we can play back the videos at faster speeds. Jump ahead. That's right. I do that when I'm editing. Because I've heard it so many times. Some of the scenes in the videos, I'll watch them. I'll see them 10 times over editing and double checking and dropping in the insets and bring in trends. Sometimes I'm so tired of hearing these things. Yeah. When I upload it, I just hope it's right. They almost always are. Man, but I see these a lot. But yeah, good idea. You can fast forward those. Let's see. Gary, your blooper mistake vids are good to lets people like me know that even the pros can make mistakes. Well, when we find a pro, we'll see if they make mistakes. But yes, I know we do. It's part of it. It's irritating. But when we make a mistake, we learn 4 or 5 different things. First off, we learn, don't do that. But sometimes a mistake can lead us into a very cool technique or trick. Some of my tricks and tips were the child of mistakes. So yeah, I hate to make the mistakes, but part of the learning process. Okay, Timothy, the chapter breakdown. We did those 2 years ago with like a belt, the bag, and a holster because they were just running too long. So we broke them down into chapters. When we do that, when I do a single video, it takes me about maybe 3 days, 4 days, including rendering and uploading and back and forth to make a project video. When we do them in the chapter format, it takes me about 2 weeks because I'm basically doing like 5 or 6 different videos at a time. But I did like the chapters, and I'm glad to hear that somebody liked that. We'll keep that in mind. Thank you for mentioning that, for bringing that up. Okay, Timothy Barber, more bloopers. Yeah. So yeah, I've got one in the works. I keep one on my software. Yeah, we won't go into that. But anyway, I just keep a running blooper video. Yeah, I'm probably getting close to. They're hard to make only because the bloopers are typically only like 10 or 15 seconds long. So to have enough bloopers to make one that's not 2 minutes long, yeah, I really got to try hard to make mistakes. I do. I got plenty of them. Some you'll never see. Yeah, we hide those. Though we all have those mistakes, don't we? Yeah. I'm not going to talk about that one ever again. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. How do you get the pillow effect in the middle of a filigree? Jonathan, can you message us on Facebook or Instagram? That one you can puff up the leather. Like a lot of us will save the trimmings from edging and grooving. I'll say my baggie. You can work that in with some glue, and it actually will make a bit of a pad. You can drop that in and lay your face leather over that. I've seen like folks that'll do tool of fish. Jurgen Volbach, he did a class at the Leathercrafters reunion. They did a mermaid. Unbelievable. Like I said, his work makes me want to get better or give up. But yeah, they would. I don't know what they used to raise the body of the mermaid, but yeah, like leather dust. You can mix that with glue. I've heard of a lot of the crafters using leather dust, mix that with a white glue to make kind of a paste, and you can lift the leather up like that. Hopefully maybe that's getting the right information there. Let's see. Oh, Tammy, that's the competition. We're not going to talk about them. No, it's, you know what? We're all out here. That's exactly right. Let's see. Okay. You know what? We're coming up on an hour and a half. There's so much to talk about still. But y'all, it's okay. Brian, take one more. I know it's like my wife to get me to talk leather. The problem, the tricks get me to shut up. Anyway, what's the proper way to measure a belt? In those videos, I use what's called a shorty. So it's a piece of leather, 1.5 inches wide, 1 inch, 1 1/4, half. That's about, I don't know, 20 inches long. So on one end, I've got my 4 holes measured out for my oblong and my rivets to hold my keeper. And on the other end, I've got 3 inches and then 6 holes spaced at 1 1/4 for a 1.5 inch belt. So therefore, what I can do is I want to measure from the middle of my oblong to the second size hole. That's going to be our waist size. So what we want to do is add 9.5 inches to the waist size, and we've got a perfect blank every time. Watch the video because I'm trying to concentrate on this and this and this guy. Watch the video because then you can make a little belt. You'll know if somebody says, okay, my waist size is 33. Okay, you need a 42-inch blank. End of story. And then you butt that shorter pattern or shorty to one end, mark your 4 holes, butt it to the other end, mark your 5 or 6 holes. You're going to have a perfect fitting belt every time because the measurement is made from the center of the oblong to the second hole. So therefore, somebody can come in a little bit, but at the same time, our buckle, that's a variable. We never know. It could be 1 inch, 3/4, 1 1/4. But what that makes that buckle is now room for error. So if that buckle's 1 inch, we've got 1 inch room for error. So yeah, watch the belt video. And I think even in the dog leash, lead and leash, I show the shorty at least. So you can get the proper measurements there. Yeah, okay, Jonathan Smith, cool, good tips there. Let's see, okay, let's see, Emlyn Thurgood. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Currently tooling some leather coasters. Any tips or suggestions? Okay, we did a video on I think I did 6 different conditioners, top coats. Which one works the best with water? And I didn't cheat on these. I would dye, it's about a 4 by 4 inch piece, dye it, and add a different top coat to every one. And I just squeezed the sponge, not at an angle so that water rolls off. I laid it flat, squeezed it, and let the water sit. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I can't remember. The absolute best water coverage was just wax, candle wax. Little difficult. No, it's not difficult to apply. It just needs to be warm, right? So that it will rub on. Gave me a beautiful top coat. It's a little more work, we've evolved to where we can just pull something out of a bottle or a can, as opposed to having to, warm it so it melts and then that was the best overall. Absolutely. Almost total resistance to water. The next one down surprised me. Leather Balm. It's the one I use all the time. That one surprised me. So but okay, at the same time, disclaimer, if we can seal that like a coaster. We've really got a top grade edge and skive. We can pretty much seal those. But for anything else, we've got holes, we've got edges, oblongs, chisel holes, rivet holes. It's leather. It's porous. It's going to take in water. At what point do we want to stop trying to waterproof it? We go all the way up to a polyurethane, and that belt's going to be like a board. It's going to crack. Well, yeah, it's going to resist all water, but now it's thoroughly useless. So I might say the Leather Balm, top coat, edges, and skive. In all honesty, I think that's going to be the best you can do. The RTC Sheridan, that's going to give you a similar, but it's going to be a real high gloss. It's a resist. So, let's see. Old man Ryan, new leather couch plus 4 cats equals a yeah, get a dog. Yeah, Bob, we got both. We're not cat people, and now we have 2. They find us. And our dog, both of our dogs. Well, Bob Barker, he passed almost a year ago, but yeah, all the pets in the house they find us. Anyway, let's see. Let's see, Chuck. Hey, let's see. When did you start in Leathercraft? Which project did? I think probably my first project was a pair of knee-high moccasin boots. And I bought a piece of leather somewhere in there. I can't now really remember because I worked for the Renaissance Fair in Texas in college. And went to a small, found you had to buy your own costumes. It broke and in college. And so I found a saddle maker in Huntsville, Texas, Sam Houston State. And I said, sir, I have like $4. Can I buy some scraps? Bless his heart. I had a little Ford Courier. He gave me almost half a bed full of leather scraps. And I think he was just happy to get rid of them because he opened up a whole corner of his shop, probably took a piece of equipment as soon as I left and just started working leather, man. The Renaissance Fair, I developed a love for that period. So therefore, that gave me the motivation to start on the period stuff. That led into the saddlebags and everything else. So, but yeah, thank you for asking. That very cool. Fell into it. I literally fell into it. But wow, look at what we can fall into and what the outcome is. Oh, okay, Emily. Okay, good. See what works. I think that's good advice, but see what works better for you. Let's see. Okay, y'all, we're gonna call it. We're approaching an hour and a half, and what am I going to talk about today? Is it even going to be worth everybody tuning in? Am I going to have enough to say? Am I going to have to dance or do some comedy or get my phone out and let's watch a movie? So y'all, thank you for making these what they are. It just means more to me than you know. Thank you for helping out. Everybody, I can't get to all these, but thank you for helping out. Great advice, great tricks, great tips, great creativity. Again, I wish I could meet and talk and meet you and talk to you and see every one of your projects. I would just love that. Y'all, it's been an absolute pleasure. Any comments that come in and after we sign off, y'all, thank you very much for wishing me a good week and a good afternoon and a good weekend. And right back to you Wednesday. I was looking at my clock. Wednesday, it's almost over. 2 days left. And then we get those wonderful weekends, y'all. Everybody stay cool best you can. It sounds like everybody's hot. So, oh, Scarborough Fair, Waxahachie. I've been to Scarborough several times. Um, Jeremy, no kidding. That's one I'd like to go to. That's a beautiful fair. Scarborough, it's in Waxahachie, Texas. It's beautiful. It's not one of the bigger fairs, which is okay. It is absolutely gorgeous. Now, Texas, that's a fair that I think their attendance is over 500,000 over 7 weekends. The parking lot has 42 rows that are a quarter of a mile long. I don't, it would take you 3 days to see that fair, but it is like walking into a medieval village. It is a marble facade vendors. Yeah. And the food and the drinks and the beer and the people and the products and the jousting. And it's got a big lake. It's got a chapel that's covered in vine. Weddings. Oh, man. All right, I know. I know. We just keep. Let's see, Benjamin Lecomte. Hi from France. Greetings. I just bought my first leather. Thanks for. I'm happy to join the community of Leathercraft. You know what? Come on in. The water's great. You already have friends all over the world. I'm so happy you're going to join us. Ryan Rorich, fair winds back to you, buddy. Y'all think I know I don't want to stop. I don't. I made my first. I okay. Can't wait for the weekend. Another point of leather. You know what? Having a hobby, we're the most stable, happy people on the planet. We have something to look forward to. That's exactly. Even the worst work day. You know what? I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna eat some dinner. I'm gonna clean up. I'm gonna go to my shop. I'm gonna spend the rest of the evening in my shop making something beautiful, having a great time doing it, y'all. It is just. It is a pleasure to spend this time with y'all every week. I'm going to look forward to next week. Be back next Wednesday, 3 o'clock. I'll go through every one of these comments. Miriam will print those, or we'll email those to me. I'll print. Well, I was going to print them out. Now I just go because it's 30 pages. But bless your heart for that. Thank you. Y'all make this what it is. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a great evening, a great Thursday, Friday, a great weekend. Anything I missed here, I'm going to come right back and I'll have that up next Friday. So y'all, from Bruce, yeah, he could care less, but y'all, thank you so much, y'all. Goodbye, and we will see you next week. Good luck with your projects. I don't want to forget that. Bye, y'all.